Normally, ladies and gentlemen, the boss man would be having the introduction today, but I requested this one. Unfortunately, last night, some news came across my Discord that unfortunately was pretty heartbreaking. For the unfortunate fourth time, I've actually lost a good friend this year. She was known as the VTuber Neko Asanya. She was a great friend to a lot of people in Jen's Discord and a bunch of other places. She was a chaotic little gremlin that could light up the room with laughter. And, we were talking and hanging out, a few days ago. And unfortunately, we got the news last night that she passed away. So today, we honor with laughter, we honor with smiles, and Asanya up there. Save some room for the rest of us. We'll see you soon. Your trip might be done here, but your memories are far from forgotten. This show's for you.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
That damn mule.
Oh yeah!
Let's do it, baby. Let's go.
This one's for you. Good morning. Welcome to the twisted, tripped out, post NBA draft Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. This first hour, of course, is powered by Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. Me, the dog, and Vikola are here. And was there a draft last night?
Yeah, NBA.
Oh, well, I was at dinner with my honey. I didn't care.
No one really.
Who gives a... Okay, I'm going to say some things. Give me the take. I'm going to say some things. Give me the take.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to start with some... I'm going to drop some bombs. In its current version, the NBA sucks. Okay? Let me just get that out the way. And it's getting worse. You better leave that up there. I haven't figured this configuration out yet. It's getting worse because of all these one and done players.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who came up with this idea of one and done? Who came up with that rule? Because the Dallas Mavericks are banking on a 1-year player named Cooper Flagg, which everybody thinks, oh, he's going to save the Mavericks. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Well, we don't know.
If
This takes a lot
you're
more
right,
than just one player.
You're right. It takes more than just one player, but it takes more than a player who's only played 1 year at Duke University.
I think the real big issue with this is that because the way people view a person's prime, they want to get as much return from the investment of going into the NBA, which is why a lot of these players are one and done. They're like, let me get the minimum amount done in college. I'll learn the rest of the way while I collect my millions and millions of dollars playing pro ball.
Yeah.
But it's watered. To say it's watered down the product would be an understatement.
It is an understatement because there's a lot that you leave on the floor. That's why I call college basketball school, because it is that jumping point between high school and the pros. That's where you really learn about how the pros are going to be not just on the court but also off it. We're talking about the media stuff with Angel. You deal with media stuff when you're in college.
I again mentioned the brilliance of Michael Jordan at University of North Carolina.
How many basketball players were in our media section when we were in CSU?
Man, when we first started conducting interviews at CSU after games, you want to talk about deer in headlights?
Yeah.
They all were deer in headlights, including the coaches.
Yeah, but they all learn too.
Absolutely. These guys don't.
No.
Which frightens me. Again, I mentioned the brilliance of Michael Jordan taking a journalism class at University of North Carolina. Oh, boy. Take the camera, please.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I got it. Hang on.
This is going to be one of those days.
Yeah, it seems like it. But, I mean, literally, the draft was underwhelming.
Well, unless you watch a lot of college ball and you follow particular players religiously, you don't know anybody. You know, probably the number one pick, and that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest thing that came out of last night was the fact that the Nets had 5 picks in the first round.
Like I said, they were trying to get out of the shadow realm quick.
Yeah, apparently, and this is how they apparently are trying to do it.
It's not going. They need a full overhaul, and maybe they feel this is the way to do it. But here's the problem I have with the NBA draft, and why I don't think most people care about it. It's the way that it's set up, lottery style. Number one pick does not just automatically go to the worst team because they need the most help. Like NFL has it right. The team that basically has the worst record should get the number one pick because they need the most help to get better. So they don't end up being the number one pick again, like how the Bears were,
and again and again and again for years and years and years.
Like how the Panthers were. What were they? 2 times in a row?
Yeah, recently.
Something like that, yeah.
There were 2 times in a row that they were the number one pick because basically the last time they ended up shooting themselves in the foot because they mortgaged and risked and doubled down and threw away and burned their entire future for you know who. Yeah, for that guy.
DJ Moore.
But even still, it should go to the team with the worst record so that they can get the most help because they need that in order for the entire league to stay competitive.
But then you bring up the question, who's tanking and who isn't? Philadelphia 76ers, hello.
It could be that way, but at the very least, it still goes to the team with the worst record. Now, I would say you need to, if you want to stop people from tanking, you need to like check out. If they start losing 4 or 5 games in a row, you got to cut them out. You got to like tell them, look, there's got to be penalties behind that.
By the way, the last couple of times that we have had back-to-back number ones in the NFL, Jacksonville 2021, 2022, Cleveland 2017, 2018, and then before that, we have to really roll the clock back to 1999 and 2000 with Cleveland.
Yeah, it's just that is it because of the lottery and a lot of fans. I've been asking my Discord, like, did anybody watch the NBA draft? And most of them said no, it's rigged. Why bother?
The NBA draft lottery needs to be eliminated.
Yes.
The NBA draft lottery was rigged from day one. Why? Who's the star involved in day one of the NBA draft lottery? I believe it's a Hall of Famer by the name of Patrick Ewing.
And the bent envelope.
Yeah, that's a little sus right there.
The bent envelope. I remember hearing about that.
I watched it live.
And for those who don't know,
during a playoff game.
And for those who don't know, kids, little history lesson. So what they would do sometimes, they would put all the teams in envelopes and put it in the round canister, and they would roll the canister.
Yep.
Well, one of the particular envelopes had a bent corner,
and it was the envelope that David Stern forcibly threw into the canister.
Yep. So guess how funny it was when they pulled out who won the pony? They pulled out the envelope with the bent corner, and it belonged to none other than the New York Knicks. And where was Stern from?
New York.
Well, isn't that surprising?
And where's the NBA office located?
New York. Isn't that surprising?
And what was David Stern before he became the NBA commissioner? A lawyer. How about those apples?
So when all this comes to be, of course, people are like, it's not a fair system.
Of course it's not a fair system, but it's one. Okay, here I go on my soapbox again, speaking truth. It's not a fair system, but it's one that people still applaud. Dallas Mavericks, hello. A 1.8% chance of winning the lottery. 1.8.
And somehow they get it.
And somehow the ping pong balls seem to drop their way. I still question it. Seem to drop their way. And then they get Cooper Flag. I call bullsh on that.
I think everyone calls BS on that.
I call flat out grade A bullsh on that.
But that's the difference. And again, that's the difference between how it is. And look, a lot more people know more, in my opinion, people know more college football players than college basketball players.
Yeah, because you get to you actually pay attention and watch them play.
So you can see more players and you follow more players.
Mm-hmm. And you do more deep dives in college football. How many have we done here on this program in 11 years?
Like I said, Cam
Ward.
Cam Ward. That's a soapbox for another day. We're coming up on a break, so let me close this way. Eliminate the NBA draft lottery, please. And then you invoke a rule, you enforce and invoke a rule that you have to play at least 2 years in college. That's how you fix the talent coming in. Doesn't fix the league as a whole. Remember, who's in charge? Adam Silver.
But it makes it better because you learn more fundamentals.
You said an F word.
Yes, I did. Now I'm going to say it again. Want me to say it again?
Please do.
You learn more fundamentals in college than even high school. And you definitely learn those more you do in the NBA.
That's Snowman's take. What's yours? Coming up, we got to talk some baseball. And how about those Houston Astros?
Oh, boy.
Smile on the Snowman's face.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, No, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
We were always hippies at heart, I guess, and that was one way that we showed it before we became full-time RVers.
And we were definitely living small and minimally.
What made us decide to go with Battleborn was everyone from their top leadership team down to their service department helped us so much the whole way through. Our relationship with Battleborn is so much more than business. And me and Dennis love to jam together. We've played together multiple times, and that's been an awesome transition. Be able to learn so much more about the business, also just make some awesome friends.
They said the W couldn't catch fire, but in Indiana, the fever's already burning. Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, Full Court Fever tips off on Snowman Multimedia. All in on the WNBA. All eyes on the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. The next dynasty in the making? Join Brian Snow for the deep dives, the hot takes, and the real stories from the hardwood. Full Court Fever, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Snowman Multimedia. This is Fever Basketball.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life-holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
The women's college game,
and how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
The WNBA,
AJ Williams stood 1-2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Because we take this job so serious.
All of it, between 2 people and 4 nostrils, all of it was gone. What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
All right. I said I would keep something to myself. I was talking to my dog in the pre-show. I decided not to. Yes, I have a smile creeping across my face for two reasons. Number one, beginning Monday, July 7th, Snowman in the Morning will enter its 12th season.
Okay.
And secondly, on that same day, Snowman Multimedia will enter season number 30.
Hey, let's go.
Just decided, and Victor knows how I think. Y'all know how I think. I decided, oh, the hell with it. Figure we're right up on the All-Star break for Major League Baseball. We are right up on the completion of the draft. NFL getting ready to get its new season underway with minicamp and stuff. I mentioned Major League Baseball already. WNBA going on. Screw it. I am the man in charge, and I set the dates, and I'm going to set them both for the first Monday in July to launch new seasons on both. Which means I got to get a wider set now that I've moved my office. So I will make sure we take care of that. And I've also made this decision. Thank you, dog, for creeping in my head, because dog knows how I think. For 2 years now, we have been flirting with the idea of expanding the show. And dog was the first one to go, leave it where it is. What? Then I started flirting with the idea again, and then dog bonked me upside the head the way Jen would on an intro. And then Wise crept in my head with his voice, don't do it, don't do it, do not do it. Do not push that button. I don't care. Leave it where it is. And then a simple question came from my wife, Jody. Why are you doing this? All that to say, the only thing that's going to change is the distribution of the podcast episodes within. And we're staying at where we are, time-wise and lengthwise.
Good.
Why put the extra work on us when we don't need it? If we miss the subject, we'll cover it in the next episode. So, not going to do it. I am no longer flirting with that bitch called expansion. I told her, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. I threw it away like Tuukka Rask threw away Game 6. I'm sorry. That's the obligatory. There, I got him to laugh.
That's
I
the
got him to
obligatory
laugh.
dig.
That's what I wanted.
This is some bad news for Sean Leahy.
What's that?
CC will likely miss Thursday night's game against the Sparks with a left groin injury. The team has announced that.
Jesus.
Yeah. Now, again,
and that injury occurred in Seattle.
Yeah. Now, I always say with all type of like internet stories, take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, that's what's going through the grapevine right now. Now, the team did not announce if Clark will miss any other games beyond Thursday.
But she will miss Thursday.
But she'll miss Thursday.
Which means they'll play the Sparks Thursday. They should win. Then they go to Dallas on Friday.
Yeah, so she'll be back for the Dallas.
She'll be back for the Dallas game on Friday, and I say this is a good move.
Yeah,
playing a team with a losing record. You got a big win in Seattle to close out your road trip. Is it official that she'll be out?
Like I said,
I just double checked everything.
Good.
There's a bunch of outlets running with this. Yes, it is confirmed out.
It is confirmed.
Sparks.
Okay. All right. Take your chances now. Take your chances now. And plus, with DeWanna Bonner being waived by the Indiana Fever and then picking up Ari McDonald, good move.
Yeah.
Get Clark some rest. And you keep. Well, the narratives are going to be flying around anyway. I'll address that. I'll address that tomorrow. Nah, screw that. I'm going to address this now. Hit the tank.
Oh, we got the tank on this one.
Time.
Okay.
No, not going to do it. I will save this for when Allie comes aboard.
Okay.
I'll save
So
it for
Friday.
later. That'll be a bonus subject when Allie comes aboard. Meanwhile, I mentioned Major League Baseball at the break.
I've got the
Right over
score.
here with us, as is a Pizzle, who says, "Don't push that button." I didn't. Ryan says, "Don't do it. We're not going to." And Mr. Phoenix is here with us.
Like I say, I got the scores from
listen,
last night, and I got
I
the
do too.
line, and I got the matchups for today.
I do.
All right, let's go to Victor. Scores from last night in Major League Baseball. This is a SeatGeek scoreboard update brought to you by SeatGeek. I don't have the graphic. I'm improving it. It's brought to you by SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Victor, it's all yours.
All right, this is the day that was yesterday. The Brewers beat the Pirates 4-2. The White Sox come up with a winner against the Diamondbacks 7-3. Nice one. The Angels beat the Red Sox 5-2. The Padres beat the Nationals 1-0. The Rangers tagged the Orioles 7-0. What happened to the Baltimore Orioles?
They fell
and Lex
flat.
do us a favor as they blanked the Tigers 3-0. The Guardians beat the Blue Jays 5-4. The Yankees smacked the Reds around 7-1.
Spank!
The Mets beat the Braves 7-3. The Royals unfortunately lose a heartbreaker against the Rays 3-0. Twins beat the Mariners 2-0. The Cubs, oh my goodness, they blank the Cardinals 8-0. Rain's not gonna be happy about.
Damn it.
Rain's not be happy about that one. The Astros beat the Phillies 2-0.
Hello, first favorite team.
The Dodgers beat the
What do
Rockies.
you think I'm wearing here?
Yes, indeed. The Dodgers beat the Rockies 8-1, so Rockies are back to regular form. And the Marlins beat the Giants 8-5. Today's games go this way. At 12:10, the Tigers host the Athletics. Dog, who's on the bump?
It's Jeffrey Springs for the A's versus the debuting Dietrich Enns for the Tigers.
Also at 12:10, the Guardians are taking on the Blue Jays, and that is in Cleveland.
Oh, God.
Kevin Guzman versus Tanner Beebe.
All righty.
The Mariners at 12:10 are visiting the Twin Cities in Minnesota, the Minnesota Twins.
Emerson Hancock versus Simon Woods Richardson.
The 1:10 games start off with the Houston Astros taking on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Christopher Sanchez on the bump for Philly to be countered by Hunter Brown for Houston.
The Rays
All-star candidate Hunter Brown. And about that game, we will have it for you beginning at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 Central, here on the channel as we get back into baseball. Go, Victor.
All right, the Rays will be going to Kansas City. That's for you, Troy, taking on the Royals.
The 7-3 Shane Baz versus the 4-7 Michael Lorenzen.
At 1:15, the Cubbies will be taking on the St. Louis Cardinals
And go
in the
Cardinals.
Lou.
It's Shota Imanga versus Andre Palante.
Go Cardinals.
The
I
Dodgers,
said it. Go Cardinals.
The Dodgers stay in Colorado to take on the Rockies. Dogs will not up at 2:10.
It is the 3-0 Clayton Kershaw versus the 0-1 Austin Gomber.
At 2:45, you have the Giants taking on the Marlins, and that is in the Giant Stadium.
That's Jansen Junk for Miami versus Hayden Birdsong for the Giants.
And
Oracle Park in San Francisco.
And at 6:10, the nightcap, it's the Atlanta Braves going to the Big Apple to take on the New York Mets. Who's on the bump, dog?
The 4-6 Grant Holmes to be countered by the 7-3 Griffin Canning.
Those are your games and those are your scores for this Snowman SeatGeek scoreboard update.
All of it is brought to you by SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Use the code Snowman to get $20 off of your first purchase. That is only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. And as mentioned today at 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central, the Phillies and the Astros will meet in a collision of division leaders. Snowman will have the call. Will begin at 2 o'clock with an abbreviated pregame show. And speaking of the Houston Astros,
Currently leading out west by 5.5.
5.5 games. Yo, I looked at this. I called at the top of the season that the West would go through Texas and not necessarily the Texas Rangers.
It will go through the H-Town.
It would go through H-Town. Seattle, once again, came out with a buzz.
Yes.
And for a moment, we all thought maybe Seattle's going to do something.
No.
Then
reality struck.
Hold on a minute. And then this happened.
By God, that's Austin's music.
Better believe it. Then they came alive, and it was a series that you mentioned, dog, that could be big in turning around that race. Seattle went to Houston for a 4-game series.
Yep.
And Houston kicked their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle won the first game by a run. Houston won the last 3 by a total of 8 runs.
Right.
The Houston Astros has been the Seattle Mariners' kryptonite since 2022 because they met in the division round in 22.
It's like every time Seattle gets going, at least in the beginning of the season, it's like you just wait for the other shoe to drop.
And boy, did it drop. It dropped all
like,
right.
Oh yeah, that's the Mariners I remember.
It's like the Mariners can't get it right.
Right now, they're barely hanging on to the last wild card spot. They're a game ahead in the win column against Cleveland.
That'll change.
And how does that happen? How are you fighting against Cleveland? The Guardians have not been good since they changed their name to the Guardians.
I'll tell you how that is. You went to Houston and you got a foot put in your ass. 3 out of 3. They lost 3 out of 4 in that series, which not only got Houston back into the race, but gave them the chance to take over the race, which they have, and now they're pulling away.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're pulling away by 5.5 games. And mind you, 13 players for the Astros have been on the injured list. They have currently 13 players on the injured list right now. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I will tell it's let's go. Let's find that series where they played Seattle and stomped them. It was a 4-game series beginning on May 22nd. They just lost 2 out of 3 in Tampa. Seattle won the first game 9-2. Okay, and then they it was an earlier. They split. They actually no, I am reading this wrong. They did win 3 out of 4. They won the first game 9-2, lost the Friday game 5-3, won the Saturday game 2-1, and then won the Sunday game 5-3. So I read that totally wrong. I apologize for that. Since then, it's all Astros.
Yeah.
They lose 2 out of 3 to Tampa. I think they lost 3 out of 4. Nope, they split with Tampa with a 1-0 win on June 1st. And then they just went nuts.
Yeah.
They just went nuts. They've won every single series after that split against Tampa Bay on June 1st. 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, 2 out of 3 against the White Sox, a sweep of the Minnesota Twins, 2 out of 3 against Oakland. No, split against Oakland. They sweep the Angels, and they're on the verge of sweeping the Phillies, and we see the scrubs beginning Friday night in Houston. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
That's a dominant team is what that is.
That is.
And I love what Ryan said. Mariner's gonna Mariner, just like Brown's gonna Brown.
Exactly.
Just like Brown's gonna Brown, and that's what the Mariners are marinering. Say that 3 times fast.
Mariners are gonna Mariner.
Mariners are marinating.
Marinating too.
And
Marinating. How
get
the hell
cooked
can we
if they don't shape up?
they're marinating. How the hell can we lose 2 double-digit leads in the division in 2 consecutive seasons? That's what they're marinating.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit has the best record right now. That could change before the All-Star break. Because the Astros are coming out of nowhere. The Astros are coming out of nowhere.
The Mariners are coming. Oh man, this is gonna be bad if the Mariners drop another division like they have.
It's already done.
It's like I said, the Mariners are a beginning of the season team.
Mm-hmm.
They'll come out. The beginning
Great
of the season
call, Victor.
They come out the beginning of the season hot, and I mean hot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then they falter.
They fall. They fall flatter than the Atlanta Braves against the Philadelphia Phillies in 2021.
Yeah.
And I hate to do it to you, Pizzle, but I don't think Pizzle can argue.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners are a feel-good story for about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then all hell breaks loose. Here's the swing I'm looking for. I titled it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm about to show you, fellas and fans watching,
Mm-hmm.
is the reason the Mariners are always going to Mariner. I'm going to show you the swing that changed their fortunes 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Pistol says, better yet, no lie to be found. Thank you.
Exactly.
The Mariners are falling faster than the Bears stock in the draft. And I'm going to show you the swing that changed everything for the Seattle Mariners in the last 3 years. Robert Ford, take it away.
The 0-1. And Alvarez belts it deep to right field. Gets it goodbye. Unbelievable. The Astros a walk-off win. Yordan Alvarez, a walk-off 3-run homer. And the Astros stun the Mariners in Game 1 of the division series. Incredible.
The House of Horrors for the Seattle Mariners continues as they mob Alvarez by home plate.
TBS with the credit for the video, and KMBE in Houston, Robert Ford on the play-by-play call. Give the proper credit where it is. That swing just created the Mariners. People don't want to believe it, but hey, Pizzle, everybody, find the lie.
None. I mean, Yordan is the one that knows how to put the dagger in somebody, and talk about having a timely swing. There you go.
And oh, by the way, Yordan's still out with a broken hand. He's not due back to the end of the month, which means the Cubs are in trouble.
Yeah.
And Mr. McCoffey, take this.
The 0-1. And Alvarez belts it deep to right field. Gets it goodbye. Unbelievable. The Astros a walk-off win. Yordan Alvarez, a walk-off 3-run homer. And the Astros stun the Mariners in Game 1 of the division series. Incredible.
The House of Horrors for the Seattle Mariners continues as they mob Alvarez by home plate.
That sound we hear is McCoffey finding a new receipt book.
A big receipt book.
I mean, it could always be worse. We could have had a graphic up dealing with what's wrong with the Jets.
Oof.
Did I just do it again?
Yes, you did.
Damn it.
Yes, you did. and he's like, not this again. McCoffey's already fighting mad. Thanks,
yes,
dog.
He is. The international supervillain is not happy with us right now.
No.
I mean, it's not like we have a picture of ownership playing Madden sitting in front of us.
Mm.
Oh no.
Oh God. Did you find some sort of video of Robert Kraft playing Madden with a jar of mustard next to him?
No, but I can make one.
Oh God.
There's a half-eaten jar of mustard with a spoon inside.
Only half.
But we don't know how fast he can down a jar of mustard.
Why are we making all these jokes, folks? Oh God.
Well,
we yesterday, dog. You should have been with us yesterday. We paid homage to Cole Johnson.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I heard about that.
We paid homage to the guy who would always tell people
You're fired
for no reason. The guy that brought us this.
This moment of bronze sexual stupidity is brought to you by Hooked on Bronix. When you start talking like an idiotic bronze sexual, Hooked on Bronix can set you right. Call 1-800-YO-KAY. Real LJPM, now approve all this.
And
somehow
this
still being paid.
Trace.
Oh, and somehow all this is still being paid for by the city fair.
Why? Because yes, LeBron, it is you. It has always been you. It always will be you, forever and ever. Amen. And while I'm throwing zingers out there, why are the Jets cratering? Yes, Aaron, it is you.
He's gone and he's still catching strays.
Well, he's not gone yet.
Well, he's out in New York. Yeah, but he's
Now,
out
I
in
got
New
a
York.
bold, before we go to break, I got a bold prediction.
Sure to go wrong.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to stifle my laughter and it's not working.
Okay.
The Ravens are going to crater.
Ooh.
Why, perhaps?
Because yes,
Lamar, it is
you.
It
I
has
knew
always
that's where
been
this was
you.
going.
It always will be you, forever and ever. Amen. That's a prediction sure to go wrong, just so you guys know. But this won't. The Bears have mortgaged, doubled down, threw away, burned up, and threw their entire future into Lake Michigan. DJ Moore. And for Caleb Williams.
Oh my God.
And then, well, Cole gave us Cole had the original one with this one. This one was Cole's idea.
That was Cole.
This was all Cole Johnson. And for some reason, I went nuts because this happened.
Damn, Joel.
This happened. Then just a couple of days ago, this happened. Thank you, Playmaker. Then this happened. And this one was recent.
Yep.
And then the ones that became originals, like this, and this.
Yep.
And all Victor had to do for the Dak Prescott one was just utter it.
Yeah.
He came on there one day and said, "What, are we going to see a yes, Dak, it is you?" And by the next segment, I had it up.
And then, of course, just because we have to play fair, this also exists.
Mm-hmm.
Along with... Yes.
Yes, that happened. And I went a little further and found something that will shut people down. Like,
we do not care.
You certainly don't care about winning.
Oh dear God.
What?
Of course they don't care. They stuck a
Pizzle.
full $75 roll of quarters up their ass.
And why? Because
One for-
yes,
all you
Tomlin,
want-
it is you.
Oh, Pizzle.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Ask and ye shall receive. Give me 4 minutes.
Oh boy.
Back after this.
Wow, that's it? Okay.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Now, I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more.
Call 800-973-6121.
During bad weather, driving can become downright dangerous.
What's your emergency, please?
Trust Battle Vision Storm, the revolutionary glare reduction glasses that turn your sight bright during bad weather at night or during the day. Watch your ordinary vision become extraordinary. Battle Vision Storm uses light optimizing lenses that block blue rays so you see clearly in heavy rain at night or blinding snow during the day. Heavy rain, snow, sleet, or fog can make it impossible to drive. Not with Battle Vision Storm. Get your Battle Vision Storm for only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get your very own at this low price. There is a strict limit of 4 Battle Vision Storm per order while supplies last. Don't wait, order now.
Call 1-800-483-6319 or visit battlevisionstorm.com. So call 1-800-483-6319 now.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
And ever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text delete, 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 delete.
Join these 2 football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
This one's for a Pizzle. Why are the Dolphins going to go under the earth? Because yes, Tua, It is you.
No,
it has always been you. It always will be you. It is you now, and unfortunately, it will be you forever and ever and ever. Amen.
You got knocked up. Out.
Oh my
Bitch!
God. Let's hope not. Let's hope he doesn't get knocked out.
I was trying to find a family-friendly version of that on YouTube, and I
can't.
couldn't find it.
You can't.
You cannot.
Nope.
You can't. It's
No.
not as it's not as much fun. There you go, Pizzle. That's for you.
I wanted to find it, but I was like, if I get the regular version, how much crap am I going to be in for it?
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many good options for that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The reference from Friday is the perfect option.
Yeah. But there's so many references from Friday.
Isn't there? If anything, I'll have to edit a version myself.
I'll find you a good one. There's a few of them.
I'll have to edit a version of that. I am so using that this season. You know what? Give me this. I'm going to do something for my homie A Pizzle, who is one of our guest pickers for this coming season. And dare I say, he'll be one of our regular pickers for this season. And while we're doing all that, Allison Moran will be on the way in about 14 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk the discrepancy, and I'm being nice, about the WNBA officiating. In other words, they ain't being fair.
Somebody about to get cooked again.
Somebody about to get roasted, and this time Allie's going to be the one to do the honors.
Okay.
I just found the one that you and I just referenced and put it in the green room for you.
Oh,
that's the one we literally just referenced.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh no.
Like I said, that's the one we literally just referenced.
Yep. You got knocked up out, bitch.
Yes, you did.
I think we're just going to have to use that in full.
Okay.
I think we're just going to have to go ahead and use it in full. We're trying to stay family friendly and stay on the air with all the stations that are picking us up, but sometimes you just got to disobey the rules.
Yeah.
This is one of those times.
Yeah.
Oh, you notice we didn't talk about the draft, the NBA draft, and we're not going to because it sucks.
Here's the and I'm just gonna put this as like the last issue I have with it.
Just a minute. Pizzle, it's on the way. Check your email, buddy.
Imagine.
Nice.
Here's the thing. Imagine if we tried to cover the NBA draft. You know how boring that would have been?
Man, give me this button. It would have been more boring than this.
What you mean?
Look, that nearly happened at dinner last night. That would have had, listen, we would have had the shortest coverage of the NBA draft in history because every few moments we would have been uttering,
"Oh, hell no."
I mean, it just is not.
Speaking of which, I got a funny story to tell you guys.
There's no spontaneity. There's no like trades that happen midway.
Nope.
So it's like there's
Nope.
no stories to really attach to. It's just
there.
It's boring.
It's just there.
There's only three. It's like maybe 3 or 4 players that you get that people are gonna follow, and then everything else is just there.
There. It's like the New England Patriots. They're just there.
Oof.
Change that. It's like the Boston Bruins. They're just there.
It's like the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, great reference.
They're
At
just
least the Bruins actually have a new sweater this year.
At least the Bruins are trying to move forward. They're like the Florida Marlins. They're just
there.
Yes.
Oh,
it's like the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're just
there.
There.
Yeah.
And this is going to turn into a new graphic, I'm sure.
You'll see it tomorrow. And I'm gonna pick on Blake. They're like the Kansas Jayhawks in football on the Big 12. They're just there.
They're like
shooting,
Joel Embiid.
shooting threes.
They're like Joel Embiid for 11 seasons. They're just
there.
There.
They're like the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
Oh God. Oh God. They're just
there.
They're you know what? This is going to turn into a segment. I already feel it.
I mean, there's
Shane,
nothing.
you already know how I'm operating.
The WNBA
I'm
draft
worried.
was more exciting than the NBA draft.
And
yes,
because you knew the people
you knew
in the
Kate was
WNBA.
gonna go. You knew when Angel was gonna go, but still, there was still more to it.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA draft just don't give a damn.
They
I
don't.
surely didn't. I was out for dinner last night. I gotta tell y'all this before we go to a break. Wife and I went to dinner celebrating our anniversary. 6 years married to my favorite woman in the world. And yes, I'm blushing beet red like a strawberry. Black man turning red. Hello. But we were getting ready to leave. We went to Chili's. We were getting ready to depart. And someone was watching the NBA draft because they had it on last night. And I'm thinking, why? And then someone said his name.
Oh no.
Yes. Someone said his name. And before I can even think of formulating a response, my beautiful wife turns to me, glares at me, and just says, no. Just
no, you don't.
no.
No, you
And
don't.
I'm cracking up. I'm cracking up.
Ryan,
And she's just telling me, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it.
Don't you do it.
She was telling me, don't do it. You have no reason to, and she coupled it with, you have no reason to do it. No, and no. I couldn't even respond because I was too busy laughing.
You're like, no, you
Yeah,
don't.
Because we all know it would have ended up.
It's like the umpire that did farm animal sounds for balls and strikes one day. Walked by me after he told us that story. And I went to my field and Victor went to his field.
Yeah, you bugged him about it all the time.
Bugged him for 2 weeks. I bugged him for 2 weeks.
It's a ball.
He had other assignment. He had other, yes, for a balk. That's a ball. I bugged him for 2 weeks. And he wouldn't do it. I saw him come in. He was running late because he was coming from work, bless his heart. And then he just flies by me with his mask in his hand and he goes, Brian, no. And I lost it.
You're like, what?
I lost it.
Need?
And I said, what? I didn't say, Brian, no. Before I can even blink to say anything, he gave me that.
Yeah.
He gave me that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. And before we continue, we're going to give a preview of a fun segment that we're going to be incorporating into the show. You all may have just heard it a few minutes ago. I'm waiting. I'll just say I'm waiting for something. But I can say this. Some of the prospects in the NBA draft, they're just there.
Yeah. They're just there.
They're just there.
You might
You know
want
what
to
I
do
mean?
a little bit more editing on that one. Drop the there down a little bit
Oh
more.
yeah. I'm on it. I'm on it.
But yeah, they're
They're
just
just there.
Yeah.
It's like Tua Tagovailoa. He's
Ouch.
just there. They're trying to anoint him as and Pizzo, correct me if I'm wrong. They're trying to anoint him as the replacement for Dan Marino, in which there hasn't been a placement for Dan Marino since Marino retired.
There hasn't.
It's like the Colts trying to find a replacement for Andrew Luck, who was supposed to be the placement for Peyton Manning, but the stupid management there did not build an offensive line around him.
Mm-hmm.
Blake Hammock says, I'm projecting Kansas to get 7 wins this year in football. Yeah. You fool! You fool. He's there until he gets hurt. Again, find the lie. In the immortal words of our friend Cole Johnson, there is no lie to be found.
Kansas getting 7 wins this year?
If Kansas gets 7 wins, I will find the biggest, fattest cheeseburger that I can lay my hands on or make in this house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll eat the sumbitch on air while I'm doing my next game.
You'll call it crow and you'll eat it.
I will call it a big fat crow and I'll eat the sumbitch. Why do I feel this way about Kansas? Because they're just there.
Kansas getting 7 wins this season.
I don't remember asking you a thing.
Agreed. No. Just
Kansas getting 7 wins this year?
Shut up, bitch.
You cannot make this up. Kansas get
Stop it. Get some help.
Thank you.
Kansas getting 7 wins this year?
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy. You big dummy. See what you did? Oh, no, you big dummy.
And you know what what's going to happen, right? They're going to make a fool out of all of us and get 7 wins.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. All right. We're due for a break. And when we come back, we got to warm up the tank because a certain redhead from my hometown is coming in here to roast some referees. And we're going to help. The Barbecue with Allison Moran after this.
Halftime!
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Now, I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more.
Call 800-973-6121.
During bad weather, driving can become downright dangerous.
What's your emergency, please?
Trust Battle Vision Storm, the revolutionary glare reduction glasses that turn your sight bright during bad weather at night or during the day. Watch your ordinary vision become extraordinary. Battle Vision Storm uses light optimizing lenses that block blue rays so you see clearly in heavy rain at night or blinding snow during the day. Heavy rain, snow, sleet, or fog can make it impossible to drive. Not with Battle Vision Storm. Get your Battle Vision Storm for only $19.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get your very own at this low price. There is a strict limit of 4 Battle Vision Storm per order while supplies last. Don't wait, order now.
Call 1-800-483-6319 or visit battlevisionstorm.com. So call 1-800-483-6319 now.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Hey, Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete.
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life-holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. Whether it's the men's college game,
The way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
the women's college game,
And how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
the WNBA,
AJ Wilson on Twitter 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out on the Playmakers blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network, in association with Comey Media Incorporated, proudly present The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson. Live every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like Boomstick Lady. No free throw is safe from the roar of her sticks. SeatGeek helps her find a seat in the direct eye line of the shooter so she can sit where her boomsticks make the biggest boom. Everybody okay? SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
Second hour, Snowman in the Morning is brought to you in part by SeatGeek. Whether you're going to see the Fever, the Sky, or anybody else in the W or the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, use SeatGeek to get the best tickets available to you. The tickets are rated on a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, and you can find the seat that you want to be in the venue where you want to be. Use the code Snowman for $20 off of your first purchase. That's only through the power of SeatGeek, where fans can fan. Speaking of fans, we gonna have to turn on a few fans because there's a pretty redhead waiting for us that wants to have a barbecue.
From the magical wind?
Why the barbecue, you ask? For the same reason that I wanted to have a barbecue earlier this week. The WNBA refs are pissing me off.
Open the windows and let the magical winds of the Windy City bring Mic Drop Moran.
Here she is. She's here. Allison Moran is with us. What's
Hi,
up,
Allie?
Hi there, guys. Bringing the sizzle, as always.
Of course.
I'm the sizzle on top of your meat. How's that?
I love it. I love it. And of course, Shane's gone already.
If only you were around for the other stuff that we do behind the scenes here, you would understand why I fell out so fast.
You know what, Shane? She has been. She's been my friend for 14 years, so she knows how I think, and she knows it permeates to the rest of us here on the crew. So trust me, she's behind the scenes as always.
Oh yeah. Oh
now
yeah.
that she's here,
I believe I gotta go hook up the propane tank.
already got you.
Watch it. I got gasoline, gang. I've got gasoline. You don't need propane there.
Just a minute. Honey, turn the tank on.
Propane,
Rip,
gas,
Allie.
charcoal. It sounds about to get cooked.
Yeah.
Let her rip.
Yeah, okay. Look I am so angry this week at the WNBA officials for all of their petty, all of their, how do I want to say, incompetent officiating. For not calling out the enforcers of this league.
Yep.
The problem with WNBA is they've modernized to a certain point, but let's put it this way. There is no reason, no excuse except for this. They are all volunteers. The WNBA officials are not paid.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Wow. That explains a lot.
It does. Okay. Who in this day and age wants to do a volunteer job like that?
Not I, says me.
No. I didn't know this either, but I found a report about it on a very credible website. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And the thing is that this is kind of, I'll blame the WNBA because they don't have a system in place for allowing referees and officials to do their jobs. If you're going to rely on a group of people who are willing to give up a few, Saturdays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays, whatever day of the week, you are not going to get the officiating you deserve. Number one. My God. You can see it. We talked a lot about the Sun and Fever Game as a prime example of how this went down. Marina Mabry was supposed to, if there was somebody that was supposed to get ejected out of, she should have been for doing this ridiculous amount of shoving and poking, and she was not thrown out. However, karma had a way of actually taking her out of the game anyway. She's injured now. She's out for a few weeks. And so,
there you go. Right there.
We can't rely on karma all the time, right?
No.
Way back when the broadcaster said, Marina Mabry's going to get ejected. And then wasn't. J.C. Sheldon had a flagrant foul, and Mabry was merely assessed with a technical foul, as were Charles and Tina Charles and Caitlin Clark. However, because this all started when Caitlin Clark got a slight shove. Okay, she gave a slight shove. Then she was poked in the eye by J.C. Sheldon, and then pushed down by Marina Mabry. Okay, so this is ridiculous. Okay, and the officials tossed out a few people. It ended up being Sophie Cunningham, who came to Caitlin Clark's defense, then J.C. Sheldon, and also the Suns' Lindsay Allen. They were all tossed from the game. But what happened was after that, almost nothing. No fines, no suspensions.
Nope.
It was rumored that they were supposed to have suspensions. They did not. Nature took care of it, as we mentioned. However, Caitlin Clark has been suffering this year.
Yes, she has.
Caitlin Clark has been beat to the core on this. On the courts this year. She's going to be out this week for their next game. And she's not the only one that's been injured this year. Asia Wilson is just coming back from concussion protocol. Yeah. And the thing is that because of this incompetence in the WNBA officiating, they're not managing the game properly.
No, they're not.
And the problem is that they're going to continue this unless we all rise up and say, pay the goddamn officials.
Absolutely.
Hell, hire them from the NBA. Hire them now that the season's over. They're not maybe working now. Let's hire some officials that can actually do the job. And it's a very specific and very how do I want to say it? It's a job for which you need training.
Yes.
It's a job for which you need to be able to devote a certain number of hours a week. And if you've got 18 different other jobs, say officiating for the NCAA, or you've got a job that's outside of basketball, you are not going to have the same concentration that you have when you are paid full time. Now, the WNBA has resources, and I can't imagine a better investment than to pay the WNBA officials for doing their jobs. You're paying the players, you're paying the concession workers. Am I right? You're paying everyone that is associated with the game except for the damn officials.
And what is the most important position besides the players? The
officials. Exactly.
Then I'm going to throw a monkey wrench question into this. Since the WNBA does have resources, and I can tell y'all, Allie and I have dove into this subject many, many years from covering the Sky in person.
Yeah.
Why is the NBA too chicken shit to pay these people to hire them full time and give them the not just the salary, but the training they need, the off-season training they need? We've spoken to one of our favorite officials that Allie and I have spoken to, Ron Olesiak.
Yeah.
We've had many We
Yeah.
have sat down and had many a conversation with Ron. We've had many a conversation with Ron, and he said the same thing. You need to train these people. You need to pay these people. You need to make them feel like they're part of the game. Because if they are part of the game and part of the association, then they can referee the games accordingly. The Officials Association of the NBA.
Exactly. Exactly.
Met Ronnie Nunn, who was a former official. I mean, these guys say the same thing. So why can't they do the same thing
And
for
think
the
about
W
and
that
think about
they
this.
do
This
for
was
the NBA?
This was also something that really puts in perspective. Do you remember what happened when NFL decided to try and use other referees?
Yes, God, yes.
The Golden Tate catch.
Both occasions I remember the referees going on strike, and then Golden Tate happened in 2013.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I hadn't thought about that for a long time, but you're absolutely right.
And here's the thing. That was a Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
That was a standalone Monday night game
Mm-hmm.
in Seattle on national television.
Yeah.
And that debacle
happened.
That was such a black eye.
The fail Mary, it has been dubbed now.
As well it should have been.
Yes.
And that that was such a black eye on the NFL. They went straight back to the bargaining table and they said, get us our referees back.
They had a deal within that. They had a deal before the next week because of that debacle that everybody saw live on the air.
So
and
now
the argument still wages to this day about that. Continue, Victor.
So now you're seeing something similar happen because the officiating for a lot of these WNBA games have been porous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And if you're not getting properly compensated for what you do, why would you put your best out there?
Yeah, exactly. Here's another problem is that there's also a problem with how they can view replay. They review their own footage.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? There's the NBA has a very high-tech replay system and it's based in New Jersey to review calls. And you can see it. I mean, how many times during the recent NBA playoffs did we see the refs go in and, dissect this high-tech footage, which is worthy of any space station? And the thing is, I was thinking that this is just like the cheapness of taking commercial flights instead of chartered flights.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just something I can't even imagine how many calls have been blown over the past 28 years because of this system. I can't.
The first call I saw blown right in front of me because I cover the Fever. I voice their games. And I've done all 14 games this year. I can give you a litany because I've written some down in my notebooks back in my old office. I can give you a litany of calls that were missed. The first one that missed that led to Caitlin Clark's injury was against the New York Liberty, in which the Fever lost 90-88. Natasha Cloud elbowed Caitlin Clark. She stuck her forearm right under her before Clark was able to get a shot away. And no call.
Yeah.
No call.
Exactly. And the thing is that this could have been avoided so easily with the right training, with the right abilities, to manage that kind of situation. And this has been going on for 28 years. I can't imagine.
Yes.
I can't imagine any other professional league that has been going on 30 years that still has volunteer officials.
Volunteer official. I didn't realize that it was that they had volunteer officials. Play by play with JJ is with us. Rachel Demita is someone I watch on YouTube because she, like us, gives the real inside scoop on everything that's going on. Victor,
And what's alarming to me is, I think one of the main reasons why so many of these calls have affected Caitlyn is because even though we know it's the incompetence of the referees, but they do it because they can sit there and say, well, look at all the Caitlin Clark fans, the only ones that complain about these calls. They're putting to someone that is not necessarily, to most fans, going to be sympathetic. The same thing we said with Angel Reese. If Angel Reese was getting all these things happening to them, they'd be like, oh, look, Angel crying for fouls. Oh, look, Caitlyn crying for fouls. And it's like, it's not that they're crying for fouls, it's that they're getting beat up and no one's saying anything. It's because the refs may not understand that that's a foul.
Yeah.
Because they haven't had which goes back to something we talked about earlier, proper training.
Yes.
Proper training. How many times this year alone, Allie, have we seen Caitlin Clark get majorly hit and they call nothing? When I did the Seattle game earlier this week, I can't tell you how many times I saw Caitlin Clark get hit, land on the floor, and be slow to get up, which is probably why she's missing the game tonight. Los Angeles, but we'll be back Friday with the matchup with Paige Beckers. And I applaud Caitlin Clark for the fact that she continues to do it with a smile and take the high road. But the game against Connecticut, she had enough. She had enough to getting shoved and hit and popped, and that scratch again with JC Sheldon, she reacted. But what's the narrative that they always spin? This is what Caitlin Clark gets. What's that? What's the narrative? This is what Caitlin Clark, I hate to say this word, but I've heard it said, deserves with all the contact and everything. And Allie, I applaud you of being the first one to bring this to me, as I do cover the Indiana Fever. I looked at it and I was in shock. We're actually saying this, and regular so-called wannabe journalists are to an effect. Here we go, running with it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and the thing is, Kelsey Plum has spoken out about this as well. L.A. Sparks, she has gotten scratches on her face. She's got scratches on her body, and then she said, and I quote, and these guards on the other team get these ticky-tacky fouls. I'm sick of it.
I don't find any lies in that statement. You know, the biggest person against the officials has been Stephanie White. Yeah. Fever. Because after the game against New York, she exploded. And has exploded every game since.
She has said bad officiating is bad officiating.
And I find no lie with that.
Yeah. None. I mean, you can put on clinics for for young kids, but if the product you have becomes inferior because of officiating, then that negates the product. And we care too much about the WNBA to let it slide. They need to create a system, and they need to be much smarter about it. You know, let Adam Silver do some, do some work. They two can work together to create, officiating clinics or referees and things like that. They can do that.
If he were alive today, would not allow this kind of officiating in the W. His name is Lawrence O'Brien. Whom the trophy is the big trophy is named after. Larry O'Brien, who I had a chance to see in the early 80s before he passed away in 1984, would not have had this at all.
No, it's pretty frightening. Becky Hammond, the that Las Vegas Aces coach has also said of that there's also been too many shots to the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Elbows, punches. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
Punches, elbows, shoves that wind up with a shoulder with a shoulder in the face.
Yeah. I mean, all of that is it's brutal, and I mean, it at some point, who knows? I doubt if it would reach the level of deadly, but the possibilities out there.
Man,
yeah, I mean, they need to fix it before someone gets hurt, because unfortunately, what my fear is that it's going to take somebody getting horrendously injured before they say, okay, we have to, like, again, with the Golden Tate situation, it took a black guy like that and that was just, an effect on a game.
Yeah.
For them to say, we need to work on referees.
And they didn't go to replay either. The officials talked about it and they decided it right there.
Right.
Victor, you said just a minute ago, it's going to take a big incident,
a horrible injury,
a horrible
that might
injury.
end a career.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that horrible injury that just happened. I mentioned one of them, Natasha Cloud's foul against Caitlin Clark, which could have easily led to a shoulder being separated, a knock against the jaw, which leads to other things. The main victim, and I capitalize the word main, the last 2 years, we all know who it's been. It's been Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
Been absolutely brutalized.
Yeah. And like I said, it to me is strategic.
Yeah.
I think it is too.
It's a way to hide it so that people, because again, if what we're saying, right? If people heard what we're saying, then we're like, oh, here they go. They're gonna cry about Caitlin.
Listen,
Caitlin's a
they
big
said
girl.
it too.
She can handle a little bit of physicality. It's like, it's not about physicality. This has gotten to the point of violence.
Victor, they've said it to me, especially when I break out the evidence. Remember, I go over footage before every game that I do.
Yeah.
When I break down the film and look at the film and rewind it 3 and 4 and 5 times, and even Jody has come in and studied video with me. She'll just look at certain plays before I start cutting my video for my intros, and she'll just go, "That's a foul. That should be called."
Yes,
it's not. It's not, because these officials have not been trained properly.
Right?
Haven't they been trained properly? Because they haven't been paid.
Yes,
it's like
they haven't been paid
around.
They are not salaried employees. They need to be salaried employees.
Agreed.
And that actually, it was Sports Illustrated. The way they reported it was that refs in the WNBA aren't salaried employees. Many have to take on other jobs, like officiating NCAA games.
Wow.
And so, they're clearly in a minority class.
Yeah.
And that is simply wrong.
It is.
And they need to have a real effort to change that. I don't know if with the season the way it is, how they're going to do that, but it needs to be in the CBA. It needs to be in the structure of the WNBA as they move forward, to make sure that those individuals are paid a decent salary. Now, everything in the WNBA has grown exponentially. Everything in the WNBA has grown as a result of almost outcry. We've got more teams coming into the league. We'll have more revenue coming in. Let's make it an absolute that officials get training, they get benefits, they get they get
Say that word
consistent
again.
salary.
Not just training, but say that other fundamental piece again. Benefits.
Benefits.
Health
Yes.
care. I mean, officials can get injured in these games.
And officials have gotten injured. Yes.
Yeah.
I was a former umpire.
Yeah.
I've taken a bat upside the head, an inadvertent one, but I've suffered 2 concussions because a kid threw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and it slipped out of the catcher's glove and it bonked me upside the head. Healthcare is not only it should be necessary.
It should be mandatory.
It should be that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Victor. It should be mandatory.
You know, I used to work for a minor league football team in Kane County, and even they had insurance. Even they didn't have like health benefits or anything like that. But once you put on that uniform, you were covered, and it was a tough league to be in, and I can't imagine not just doing this is the way they are right now. They're on the same track as the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and the Lovables, and every individual and every organization that works for a team but is not really part of the team.
Right.
And that's how they're seeing the officials, and that's not acceptable.
It's not. It's not. And the league is the product is going to continue to suffer. Yes, they've had record numbers for viewers and different games and things like that, but the product is going to suffer if you don't train your officials to officiate the game properly. Once again, how many times have we seen Caitlin Clark get fouled, knocked to the floor, knocked into the bench, and nothing?
And stuff like this slides downwards. So it's not only going to be Caitlin Clark. They're going to take down
many others. It's
Asia Wilson, Paige Beckers, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, who's been out injured for the last couple of games.
Jonquel Jones, if we're mentioning key players, Jonquel Jones.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can tell it. I mean, they're 12-3, something like that right now, and it's the New York Liberty we're talking about, of course, and all of these injuries. Yes, you expect to have a few injuries, but these are. This is still really early in the season. We're 15 games in, and a lot of these individuals have to take significant time out. You have to come back. It seems to be the stars that go down because they're the ones who are targeted. And it's only going to get worse. So you're going to see a lot of people just, with turned ankles and with all kinds of bruises, cuts, scrapes, concussions. Concussions are the thing that worries me the most because that's going to sustain the longest damage. I used to not worry about that as much in the WNBA as I did for the NWSL or the PWHL.
Right.
I've never worried about concussions more than I have this year as a result of what's been happening to the players. It's been scary, and it's only going to get worse.
Oh man, boy, is it ever going to get worse? All right, I think we can close the grill now. Thanks. Speaking of Indiana, there's a situation going on with DeWanna Bonner. She has been released by the Indiana Fever.
The thing about DeWanna Bonner was that it was not a great fit with her. It was she started 3 games for the Fever to open the season, but only she was shooting half her usual. She was averaging only 7.1 points, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.6 assists in the 9 games she played before she was pardon?
Was she released or benched?
She was first benched.
Okay.
Then she was off for personal reasons, and finally yesterday, Wednesday, she was actually released.
Wow.
And the thing was, they basically what happened was that she expected to play a much larger role with the team, and she was not the chemistry wasn't quite right with Caitlin Clark. The chemistry maybe wasn't as good with Kelsey Mitchell as could have been. I think that and she got unhappy. There were, I think that she may have thought when Caitlin Clark went down that she could come in and be star, and that's just not going to happen. And so, she released a very nice statement saying, "Thanks for all the opportunities, Indiana Fever. We were so happy to be here, blah, 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 blah," all the niceties. She was very upset within the last games. And you could tell that. You could see those eyes were kind of dead. I don't know if you noticed that, Brian, but to me, she was very automaton in the last couple of games that she played. And so it was just a chemistry that didn't work out. She is also engaged to Alyssa Thomas and really does want to play for the Phoenix Mercury. And she was, you have to understand that Alyssa Thomas is Dewana Bonner's fiance and also a former teammate with the Connecticut Sun. And the thing is, though, that right now the Phoenix Mercury is doing great. They're actually
fabulous.
God, they have exceeded all expectations this year. This week, they're at number 2 in the power rankings. It's incredible. 11-4. I would not have predicted that in a million years.
Me neither.
It has a 5-win streak, and continued, and they've just continued to break all expectations apart. Embarrassing as it is for me as a Chicagoan and a Chicago Sky fan to say they had a season high 107 points against the Sky last week. And oh my God, it's the thing that's been great about them is that they have they've got a great mix of overseas players as well as veterans who are wonderful. They've created a chemistry that I have never seen before in the WNBA. They've got Monique Akoa Makani. They've got Catherine Westbeld. And also, if I can pronounce this name right, give me a gold star for the day. Kitya Laksa. And
gold star. You got your gold star.
Yep. She's leading Phoenix in 3-pointers with 29. And also, let's not forget Situ Sabali.
What an addition to that team.
Oh
Satu
my.
Sabali,
Yeah.
she has been turned loose on
She-
that ball club.
19.3 points per game. I mean, that is just perfection right there.
And now.
Yeah, you've got to credit their coach. You've got to credit their the way that he's been managing that team. Just they've had a lot of really good luck. I would never have ranked them anywhere near second in preseason.
Right. Because it seemed like Phoenix didn't have the pieces to compete.
Yeah, exactly. But their acquisitions have been spot on. We'll see how it continues, but at 11-4 at this early date, come on.
And 2 100-point games.
Yes. Of course, one of them was against the Chicago Sky, Brian.
They blew them out 107-86 at Wintrust Arena, but 2 100-point games.
Yeah.
For the Phoenix Mercury.
Yep, they have been fantastic. So I don't think they're going to need DeWanna Bonner.
No.
And what's more, if she manages to get there, she's going to be, warming the bench for a long period of time. Remember, she's 37 years old.
I couldn't believe it when I did the preseason special. I couldn't believe DeWanna was 37 and in her 15th season.
Yeah.
When I read the notes, and you gave me a few notes, Allie, to accompany it. And when you said Bonner's in her 15th season, then I went, wait, 15 years. And I went and looked at it, did some quick research.
Here's the thing: when the Fever played the Sky and DeWanna had broke her record, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be the start of something wonderful. This is something amazing. And just after that, there was just no lift up. There was nothing. And I was like, maybe she does need just a change of scenery.
Yeah. It's so hopefully she hasn't been signed by anybody yet. So we'll see. I mean, at least during this time, she can fly to Phoenix, watch Alyssa for a little while. We'll see. Yeah. The other team that she expressed interest in going to is the Atlanta Dream. But let's put it this way. Atlanta's pretty high.
Atlanta's pretty solid right now.
They are. They have been. Let's see. Where did I rank them? They're in the top 10 for sure, and they have done really, really, really well. Okay, yeah, I ranked them as the number 4 team this week with at 10-5, and the thing is, they could have been in the Commissioner's Cup final, which is going to take place on July 1st. Don't miss it. Don't miss it with the Fever and the Lynx. And that should be.
It's their first meeting of the season.
Yes.
It'll be a measuring stick for Indiana, because when you talk about Minnesota, first and foremost, they lead with Nafisa Collier, who is a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but also a strong candidate running away and coupling it with the most valuable player.
I do have one question. The latest Sky game, Sky came out with the win, Angel Reese 18-17. Pretty good game. What's your takeaway? Could this, and I know this is wishful thinking, but could this be a possible turnaround for the Sky? Because we've talked about all of the hiccups they've had with Reese and Carmilla and even their coaching staff that just seems to be sometimes lost. Do you think that this could be their get-right game?
In the post-game press conference, Tyler Marsh was asked that question, and he was hopeful about it. But I am a doggone cynic. and understand that they won against the Sparks, okay, and it only tied their record with 4-10 on the season, right?
Right.
I am a true skeptic. The bright spot on the team is Camila Cardoso.
And she had a big game. 27 points.
27 points. That's right. Shooting 69.2% from the field. Not getting enough touches though.
Right.
And what's more, she's working this week with the Brazilian national team. She's going to be out. So we won't have Camila Cardoso this week. So I'm saying they're playing Golden State tomorrow night, and they're going to be at LA on the 29th. I'm saying that maybe they're going to have to figure out another workaround. And though Angel Reese is, she's been struggling all season. She didn't have a great game against LA. She still got her double-double, but she's still having issues. In the paint, she's still having issues around this, around whatever sophomore slump she's going through. I am not thinking that they're going to be a solid team now that they've won 4 games. Okay,
They have much more work to do,
and unfortunately, Marcia's response that concerns me.
Yeah,
when you say I'm hopeful,
good one.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be hopeful. You should be confident.
You should be like, yes, this is our get back game. We're going to build on this. Now, you saying you're going to win every game? No,
they
but
mentioned
this should be what you build on.
Yeah, he was hopeful that they could build on this. The Golden State Valkyries are having a tremendous season for a new team. It's ridiculous. I did not expect them. They're ranked 6th this week. And in my power rankings,
and climbing with the way that they're playing, they are playing very, very loose. They're have nothing to lose, and they're the expansion team. They're not playing like a typical expansion team.
No,
but this team has come together, and what delights me about the Valkyries, and Allie, you and I highlighted it, they're going to be a team to watch with the players that they have with them, and Natalie Nikasi. Oh my gosh!
She is
done.
She's a find as a coach, right? Oh my God!
Oh yes.
She actually learned something from Becky Hammond.
She did. I mean, listen, Natalie Nikasi was the perfect appointment to coach the Golden State Valkyries, and that fan base is as rabid as their counterparts, the Warrior fan base. They have sold out and I'm looking here, every game this season has been a sellout. Home game has been a sellout at the Chase Center. And that number, 18,064.
Yes.
Every home game is gone. You're not going to be able to walk up, pay about $20, $30. No, not with the way this team is performing. I'll read that number again as I look over here. 18,064 for every single home game at the Chase Center. You want to talk about a fan base that believes in their team? I mean, Indiana believes in their team. They've sold out every game also at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
And we know how loud that joint can get. But you want to hear loud? Check out a Valkyries game. Those people are, and I say this very playfully and lovingly, those people are nuts.
Yes,
and I'm loving it.
What I used to say is my sign off at during the Chicago Bulls years for UPI radio, I used to always say, from the noisiest stadium in the NBA, Allison Moran, Chicago. And
Listen, I've taken in a few games at the old barn.
Yeah.
I took in game 2 of the 1991 NBA Finals in the old barn.
Yep, so did I.
And I walked out that joint without ears for a week.
Yo, Snowman, you know what fan base they're starting to remind me of?
What's
Do the Crusader Crazies mean anything to you?
Oh,
I have to tell before we get out of here, I have to tell this story. There's a couple of the notes we didn't get a chance to hit, but we're running out of time. I promise we will hit those next week, including Monet Davis. Next week, I'll give you a present. We'll dedicate the entire segment to Monet Davis. A part of the segment will be dedicated to Monet Davis. I got to tell this story. When I first started broadcasting the Catholic League on my original radio station, I didn't know how crazy Brother Rice was going to be, but I knew the tradition of the Catholic League. Those folks are nuts. They are loud. They are supportive. When I walked in to what I deemed a week later the Crusader Coliseum, because we didn't have a name for it. We didn't have a name for it. Gave it the name of the Crusader Coliseum, and then I took a peek at their student section. And they reminded me so much of the fans at Duke. So I gave them the name the Crusader Crazies. And from what I'm told to this day, it's stuck.
Yep.
Love that.
To a point where when I came in one night and I was feeling rotten, okay, but had a Crusader game to do. In fact, it was a home matchup, and they were playing St. Rita. Oh dear God, that
I know that matchup.
You get it.
Yeah,
you get
sure
it.
Do.
Okay,
Yeah.
I had to play St. Rita at home with first place in the red division hanging in the balance because whoever won that team was going to race through the rest of the season and win that division. I walked in there, and everybody had Crusader Crazy shirts on. And I'm just smiling. I'm going, are you kidding me?
All right. See?
And Rice
You're a
wound up
legend.
winning the game. Yep. Rice wound up winning the game, going away by 13. And like I said, the name stuck. Victor took in a game with me. And when Victor and I did a Brother Rice game together, he looked at me and said, how loud is this place going to get? I said, put your headset on and I'll tell you. When the kids were being introduced, Victor looked at me and I looked at him and he said, are you kidding? I said, just wait. And then Bobby Frazier got introduced and the roof came down. Tomorrow I'll talk about many more of a Catholic League matchup that I have covered. But we got to go. Allison Moran has with us. She's been with us for a year. And she will stay with us as long as she'll have our crazy asses talking everything about women's sports. Next week, we'll highlight Monet Davis. Allie, thank you, my dear. We love you. And we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
I can honestly say after being in the stadium and the United Center, I have never done a game as loud as I did at the Crusader Coliseum. And the bad part is they get louder and louder and louder. Eat your heart out, Oracle Arena. We got to go. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We hope you all are too. Astros baseball in an hour. So long, everybody. And to the NBA constituents that put on the draft last night,
you fired.
You suck.
See you tomorrow.
Ouch.